For years, fans of Live with Kelly and Mark have been enchanted by the dynamic duo of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, their witty banter, loving glances, and occasional playful jabs. They're the couple who seem to have it all figured out. But in a candid and heartfelt revelation, Mark recently revisited the surprising twist of fate that led him to propose to Kelly in the most spontaneous way imaginable. It wasn't the kind of proposal that comes with a meticulously planned setting, a velvet box hidden inside a jacket pocket, or a photographer secretly lurking to capture the moment. Instead, it was raw, unplanned, and very Mark and Kelly, a love story rooted in timing, trust, and an undeniable connection. A love story that began off-screen. Before diving into the proposal itself, Mark reflected on the beginnings of his romance with Kelly. The pair met in the mid-90s on the set of All My Children, where Kelly had already been established as the spirited Haley Vaughn. Mark was the new guy, cast as the brooding Mateo Santos, and their chemistry was immediate, both on and off-screen. Mark confessed that he had been smitten by Kelly almost instantly, but it wasn't just her looks that captivated him. Kelly had this energy, he recalled in a recent sit-down. She wasn't trying to be the center of attention, but somehow, she always was. She's funny, she's sharp, and she has this way of making everyone in the room feel noticed. I couldn't stop watching her. Kelly, for her part, admitted later that she wasn't sure where things with Mark would lead. He was so different from anyone I'd dated, she said once. But the more time we spent together, the more it felt like the universe was saying, pay attention to this one. The day that changed everything. The moment that would eventually lead to their spontaneous proposal didn't look like destiny at first glance. Mark recalled it vividly. They had just come off a long day of shooting, both exhausted, both craving something normal outside of work. We decided to grab a bite to eat, Mark shared. Nothing fancy, just a quiet little spot. And it was one of those conversations where everything just lined up. We weren't talking about careers. We weren't talking about scripts. We weren't even talking about Hollywood. It was about family, about where we came from, about what we wanted out of life. And for the first time, I thought, I don't just want to date her. I don't want to risk losing her. I want this forever. Kelly, always the storyteller, has said in interviews that she remembers Mark being unusually quiet during their meal. I thought maybe he was tired, or maybe he was regretting going out with me, she joked. But what I didn't realize was that he was sitting there figuring out how he was going to change both of our lives with one sentence. A proposal without a plan. Unlike the grand gestures often romanticized in movies, Mark didn't get down on one knee in a candlelit restaurant or set up a scavenger hunt leading to an engagement ring. Instead, he asked Kelly to marry him with no rehearsal, no script, and no jewelry store visit beforehand. I didn't even have a ring, Mark admitted. It just came out. I looked at her and I said, let's get married. That was it. I don't even think I said it like a question. It was more like a statement. Like, this is what we're doing. Kelly was stunned. He literally asked me over pizza, she later laughed. I was like, wait, what? Are you serious? But the way he said it, so certain, so calm, it was impossible not to feel that he meant every word. And he did. That impulsive declaration became the beginning of their journey together as husband and wife. Vegas, baby. Of course, a spontaneous proposal called for a spontaneous wedding. Not long after that conversation, Kelly and Mark found themselves hopping on a plane to Las Vegas. They tied the knot on May 1st, 1996, in a small ceremony at the Chapel of the Bells, a venue that has hosted countless whirlwind weddings. Looking back, Mark says it was perfect. We didn't need a big wedding, he explained. We didn't need all the extras. It was about the two of us deciding that we were in this together. The rest didn't matter. Kelly has echoed that sentiment over the years, pointing out that while their wedding was small, their marriage has been anything but. We've had the big life, she said. The wedding was just the starting point. The beauty of spontaneity. For fans, the story of Mark's unplanned proposal has always felt fitting for the couple. Their love story wasn't polished or orchestrated for cameras. It was messy, impulsive, and very real. That authenticity has carried them through nearly 3 decades of marriage, 3 children, and countless ups and downs in the spotlight. Mark reflected on how that single moment of courage, blurting out his desire to marry Kelly, has shaped his life in ways he never could have imagined. If I had waited for the perfect time, if I had tried to plan it all out, who knows what would have happened, he mused. Sometimes you just have to leap. And thank God I did. Kelly, never one to let Mark have the last word, has often teased him about the lack of a ring during the proposal. He owes me a do-over someday, she joked during an interview. But underneath the humor, it's clear that she treasures the way their story began, raw and unfiltered. Lessons in love. For many, Mark and Kelly's story is a reminder that love doesn't have to follow a script. Sometimes the best moments are the ones that catch us off guard, the ones we never see coming. Their spontaneous proposal highlights the beauty of trusting your instincts, of speaking your heart even when you don't have all the details figured out. And for Kelly and Mark, that leap of faith has turned into a lifetime of memories. Mark summed it up best. People always ask what the secret is to a long marriage. For me, it was saying yes to the scariest, most spontaneous thing I'd ever done, asking Kelly to marry me without a plan. And every day since then, I've just kept saying yes. Nearly 30 years later. Now, decades after that pizza-fueled proposal, Kelly and Mark continue to thrive both as individuals and as a couple. Whether they're co-hosting live television, raising their children, or sharing glimpses of their life together on social media, they remain an enduring example of love that grows stronger with time. What began as a surprising moment in a casual restaurant has blossomed into one of Hollywood's most cherished marriages. And while Kelly may still tease Mark about his spur-of-the-moment approach, she wouldn't have it any other way. After all, sometimes the best love stories don't begin with fireworks or diamond rings. They begin with two people, a slice of pizza, and the courage to say yes.